a sequel that I actually like more than the original. This is a first. Today I'm here to talk about The Other Half of Happiness, which is the sequel to the Sophia Khan is Not Obliged. Now this will have a different cover when you see it in the shops. It comes out on the 6th of April and this is an art copy, so it looks a little bit different, but I do think the cover that's coming out has got a similar sort of colour scheme down the middle. And just as I've said that, I've noticed that on the back we've got a picture of how it will be looking. There we go. Is that focused? Yes, it is. If you haven't read the first book, some of this could be slightly spoilerish, so I'm not going to spoil anything really, but if you haven't read the first book you might want to skip some of this because I'm just about to give a brief synopsis. In the first book we're looking at Sophia Khan as she is commissioned to write a book about Muslim dating in London, and we follow her through her journey with her ups and downs, her triumphs, her falls, and at the end of the first book, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, she gets on a plane with her Irish neighbour and flies off to Pakistan. This book picks up a sort of a little while later while they're still in Pakistan and they are married, which isn't a spoiler for the second book because on the back it immediately talks about how she's married but her marriage isn't going quite the way she planned. And so we're treated to a whole host of outside factors such as they both have very different paths in lives, and it's the sort of the merging of the two and find out how that's going to work for them. Her husband, as I said earlier, he's Irish and he is on a sort of a spiritual journey and he is all about doing the greater good and helping people. So there's the obvious question of does his charity work come first or does Sophia come first? And then we've got Sophia with her life in London and the sort of conflicting lifestyle choices that the pair of them have made, and now they're married. And then you've got the outside influences of family. So you've got her husband's Irish family and you've got Sophia's family who are living in London, and she's a Muslim, he's from a Catholic background, and there is a huge amount of hilarious capers that come along the way. One of the things I really enjoyed about this was that I learned a lot about a culture that I didn't actually know a lot about. And I said that with the first Sophia Khan book too. It sort of opened my eyes a little bit more and I learned a little bit about sort of Muslim family setup and what sort of beliefs and traditions and things that they hold dear, because it is very different to traditional sort of westernised family ideals and family sort of behaviours and traditions and things. One of the huge things that is a sort of source of contention in Sophia's life is the fact that she has chosen to wear a headscarf, and rather naively, I had never really considered the act of wearing a headscarf. I just saw people in daily life wearing headscarves and it never crossed my mind about the choices that you make or what that headscarf symbolises or anything like that, whereas Sophia delves into a lot about what her headscarf means to her and what her headscarf means to the general public, what it means to her family, because not all of her family wear headscarves, and I found that really interesting and it really opened my eyes a lot into the role of religion in someone's life. And for that, that is something that I will take away from this book and I will keep with me forever, because it is something I didn't know before. Oh, sorry, my camera cut out there, how rude. Anyway, back to what I was saying. One of the things that I really like about the humour in the book is that the author manages to tackle really serious issues, such as radicalisation, sexuality, the effects of religion, the effects of prejudices in society, the sort of... What's that? Some deer outside my window. It's very Disney, isn't it? Sorry about that. And I really enjoyed the way that such hard topics are tackled in a way with a little sprinkling of humour. It is a little bit dark and I think some people might not enjoy that sort of humour, but one thing that I do myself is make light of really dark situations, and that is what you get a lot of in here, which I did enjoy. But at the same time, a little bit of light is shone upon, like I say, rather difficult and hard subject, which really appealed to me. Another thing I really loved is Sophia's mum. She is brilliant. The love that she has for her daughters is absolutely unreal, and you find out a little bit of a backstory and you sort of see a little bit of her life. And I would personally, I'd really like to actually read a book all about Sophia's mum and Sophia's mum's journey through life and what she experienced when she first was put into her marriage when she didn't really know her groom and how her life went. I would really like to know more about that. And if I was Sophia, I'd be sat down with my mum asking all these sort of questions, because I found her to be an interesting woman, and I found that her love for her daughters shines through really strong in this, and I love that. I really like sort of a strong family background in books. And yeah, so Sophia's mum is definitely one to watch out for if you read this. I wasn't so keen on the groom's mum. I found her to be typical mother-in-law style, irritating person. But again, that is something that I like. I like having someone in a book that annoys me a little bit, which I possibly shouldn't, but I do like having people to be a little bit irritated at whenever they appear. I think it's the same sort of reason I like soaps. There's always someone in it that you love to hate, and I didn't particularly enjoy The Groom's Mum. And so with that, and along with the aspects of discussing radicalisation and the struggles that Sophia's going through, this book is a little bit more hard-hitting than the first one. It's not quite as light and airy, but it's also, in my opinion, a lot better than the first one. And I really enjoyed the first book, but this, I found it more funny. I found Sophia more endearing in this book, simply because I found it to be so real. So in a lot of romance style books, you'll be hit with once you're married, suddenly your life's complete and you're in a perfect bubble of happiness. Now you're married, you've been saved, and it's a lot of sort of romancy style books have that there. I mean, and I wouldn't say this was particularly a romance book, but it's got elements of marriage and relationships in there. And normally you are hit with, once you're married, you know, your worries are ended. But with Sophia, she's still the same girl, and she's still inside, she's still worried. She doesn't know where her life's going, she doesn't know what path to take. And I like that element of realism, that she's married, but really she's still exactly the same person, and she's still got the same troubles that she had before that. And that for me really endeared me more to Sophia's character. There are elements of Sophia's character that I did find a little bit frustrating, such as she's very quick-witted, very quick to say what she thinks in certain situations. There are other times where she just seems incapable of opening her mouth and saying what she needs, what she wants and what she's feeling, and I found that to be quite frustrating at times, and I wanted to just be there with her and push her forward and get her to say what she needs to say. But at the same time, I can understand that element of her personality and that element of not really wanting to create waves, not really wanting to draw huge attention to herself, and not really wanting to expose herself and be vulnerable. And again, that made her more of a complete person to me rather than just a character. So if you've read this, I'd be interested to know what you thought of Sophia's character. I really enjoyed getting to know Sophia on a different level, and not just the writing a book Sophia out trying to go in the dating world. I enjoyed getting to know a deeper look into Sophia as the person. And when you mash that with the elements of education about a whole different culture that I really knew nothing about prior to reading the two Sophia Kahn books, I found this to be a really entertaining and relevant read. So I would love to know your thoughts. If you've read this, I'd like to know what you thought down below, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.